Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do, the usual disclaimers. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic refused, so you know the drill. Please read the article, share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC actually does see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center and Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please utilize your headphones. Trigger warning 2. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is very much advised. All right. So where we left off, right? Where we left off. The FDA agrees that some panel members opined that the ESDs provide benefits for some patients, but digress what we ignored these comments in the proposed rule and disagrees that the panel members opined that the benefits would be more likely to occur in the JRC's patients. In other words, we can recognize that this device is going to put an immediate stop to the action. We are considering this as you're part of a medical model as a success, right? Okay. That does not tell us that the ends justify the means. This is something that JRC has adamantly refused to get through their heads. The ends do not justify the means. So it doesn't matter if it stops the horrible behaviors or not. That doesn't matter. What matters is twofold. For the individuals that are faded off the device, are we able to prove what we have at hand that that device was able to condition entirely the so-called troublesome behaviors? The answer to that question is no. Are we able to prove that this device gives such large benefits that they outweigh the risks? No, we cannot. In fact, we cannot point to a single person who's been faded off that device that can show so called conditioned longevity. Okay? And we also need to get away from this conditioning bullshit. It's brainwashing. And it's going to fail every time. You ever tried to brainwash someone who's so solidified in reality that we literally freak out if you try to pull some bullshit? Because that's every autistic person I've ever met. Okay? Jesus. The idea that if we force you to repeat this action that it will automatically take the place of the bad behavior is naive and stupid. We may give you that new conditioned response a 9 times out of 10, but always remember that 10 is coming. Okay? You cannot condition something out of a person that is a part of their diagnosis, that is a part of their DNA. That's insane. Now, am I trying to tell you that you shouldn't try any medical treatments at all? No, I would never say that. What I'm telling you is we got to get out of this mindset that if we just use behavioral techniques and condition pre-programmed responses. And by the way, that's an actual term, folks. Pre-programmed responses and references to us. Like we're not humans, but we're computers. We're machines. And they just gotta tweak us until they fix us into being neurotypical. Please, God, shoot me. Shoot me. Because I've dealt with it in a professional capacity and I ruffled more than a few feathers, and no, I'm not even remotely sorry. You shouldn't try to be conditioning your child to be jack shit. Okay? Another part of the medical model, this idea that somehow we're going to find this amazing miracle treatment and somehow we're going to at least appear in every way to be neurotypical. That's never going to happen because, fun thing about masks, kids, you can tell what an autistic feels about the world by examining us when we have our masks on. Those masks are a reflection of the neurotypicals around us. That's how we see you. Okay? And because we're autistic, it's going to be just slightly off and defeats the purpose anyway. We need to get around our heads that there is no cure-all cure. And there's never going to be. We got to start living in reality. This is who we are. This is our DNA. So we got to learn to not work against it so much as work with it. Okay? We got to work together with the diagnosis, which is why we've had so many successful job programs, some which I helped develop, because we have some within person centered planning circles that focus. Okay, this is a hyper interest for you. If we build on this, this can turn into a career. It happened to me. Don't sit there and tell me we're not rich. That's never going to happen. I was born broke. I was born broke with a bad attitude. Okay? And I still managed to do it. So, there's that. Let's continue, shall we? As explained in the proposed rule, approximately half the panel agreed that there was a benefit, but they qualified their answers by explaining that the evidence showed a benefit from the interruption, immediate cessation of the behavior, and noted weaknesses in the evidence. In other words, what they're saying is what they were calling a benefit was the immediate stop of the behavior. They at no time, at any time, made any claims in regards to the longevity of that so-called success because they can't. There's no evidence, at least no evidence that's worth the poor trees that were downed in order to print it. Regarding refractory individuals residing at JRC, when asked specifically about the subpopulation for whom any benefits might manifest, most panelists stated that they could not define the subpopulation. Thank you, baby Jesus. Somebody's not an ableist twit. You find unicorns every day, folks, if you know where to look. I think I just found one. That's because they don't. They use the terms high functioning and low functioning, but in actuality, they keep saying only the most bad, only the most bad, only the most bad, but that's a bunch of bullshit. We know this from Jennifer Masamba and some of the others that have come forward, but let's continue, shall we? Further, oh goodness, I lost myself. Hold on, folks. Further, as noted in response 13, 32, and 43, being refractory to other treatments does not mean ESDs will be effective. Thank you! Just because you so called tried everything, which we all know the lie to that, don't we? That doesn't mean that torture is going to be more effective. Okay? Not in the long term. Anyways. However, overall, the panel recommended to FDA that the agency ban ESDs for SIB or AB, with members taking into consideration potential risks and benefits of the device, including the use of the device in a refractory population. In other words, quit using the word refractory and trying to use it as a bludgeon. Okay? You can spin in a circle crying refractory for 3 hours and it's not going to change that point. All right? Stop with the refractory bullshit. All right? According to the panel's overall evaluation of ESD effectiveness is consistent with FDA's. In other words, the panel, the folks who reviewed this before issuing a final decision, have already gone over this argument with a fine-tooth comb. They are still telling you no. You can sit there, they said it stopped the action. That is all they said. They said nothing about longevity or about its success as a treatment program because they can't. There's nothing to back it up from a third non biased party. Okay? We're going to close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do tend to get removed from time to time. You know the drill. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to utilize those comments. I appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see you again in a few minutes. Bye bye, everyone.